A man without a word is a sword without a handle. It does not matter how sharp the blade is. It does not matter how high the quality of the steel is. If there is no handle, you cannot wield it without cutting yourself. Every time you swing it, you bleed. This is the state of the modern man. He has potential, he has ambition, he has ideas that could change his reality, but he lacks the fundamental grip required to use them. He lacks the ability to keep a promise to himself. You look around and you see a world built on fluidity. Opinions change with the wind. Loyalties shift based on convenience. Men make vows they have no intention of keeping, simply to survive the awkwardness of the moment. You have likely done this yourself. You tell a friend you will be there, even when you know you will not. You tell your partner you will change, even though you have no plan to do so. You look in the mirror and promise that tomorrow is the day the discipline starts. But tomorrow comes, and you drift again. You think these are small lies. You think they evaporate into the air once spoken. You are wrong. Every time you break a word you speak, you fracture your own spine. You are teaching your brain a very dangerous lesson. You are teaching your subconscious that your commands are just suggestions. You are training yourself to believe that your voice carries no weight. When you say, "I will," your mind hears, "maybe." This is why you feel weak. This is why you hesitate when you should strike. You have stripped yourself of authority. If you cannot trust what you say to yourself, why should the world trust you? We must look back to a time when words were binding contracts written in blood. We must talk about chivalry. Forget the fairy tales you were told as a child. Forget the romanticized images of knights saving damsels or reciting poetry. Real chivalry was a warrior's protocol born in the mud and the trenches. It was a survival mechanism. In the chaos of battle, if the man next to you said he would hold the line, he had to hold the line. If he broke his word, the formation collapsed and everyone died. In that era, a man's honor was not a badge of vanity. It was his credit rating. It was the only currency that mattered. If a knight gave his word, it was considered done. To break a vow was to die a social death. It was to become a ghost, irrelevant and despised by peers. They understood that the tongue must be connected to the will. They viewed the word as iron, cold, hard, unbending. Once it is forged and cast, it does not change shape just because the fire gets hot. The modern world has lost this fear of the broken vow. We have replaced honor with doing our best. We comfort ourselves with intentions rather than results. But the universe does not care about your intentions. It only respects your actions. When you overpromise, you are feeding your ego. You get a hit of dopamine just by announcing your big plans. You tell everyone you are going to start a business, run a marathon, or quit a vice. The applause you get feels good. It feels like you have already achieved it. This is a trap. You have stolen the reward before doing the work. To reclaim your power, you must stop seeking this cheap validation. You must understand that reliability is the rarest trait in the current marketplace of men. Everyone is talented. Everyone is creative. Everyone has a vision. But almost no one is reliable. If you can become the man who simply does what he says he will do, you become a force of nature. You become dangerous. People stop questioning you and start moving out of your way because they know you are inevitable. This requires a new contract. You need to rebuild your integrity from the ground up. The first step is to silence your tongue. Stop broadcasting your goals. Stop posting your intentions on the internet for strangers to validate. If you have not done the work, you have not earned the right to speak. Keep your plans in the dark. Let the results be the only announcement you make. When you work in silence, you build pressure. That pressure becomes the fuel for action. When you talk, you release the pressure valve, and the engine dies. You must adopt the protocol of small vows. Do not promise to change your entire life overnight. That is the behavior of a child. A warrior starts with the ground beneath his feet. Make a promise that is so small it seems ridiculous, but keep it with the intensity of a life or death oath. Promise that you will drink a glass of water when you wake up. Promise that you will read 1 page. Promise that you will do 10 push-ups. It does not matter what the action is. What matters is the perfect alignment between saying it and doing it. When you execute these small vows without fail, you begin to repair the handle of the sword. You start to trust yourself again. You realize that you have control. Once you have established this baseline, you can expand, but never make a promise you cannot deliver. It is better to promise nothing and deliver a surprise than to promise the moon and deliver a stone. Undersell and over-deliver. This is how you build a reputation that precedes you. Consider the concept of the Vow Ledger. Most men drift because they have short memories. They forget the lies they told themselves last week. You need to keep score. Get a notebook. Every time you give your word to yourself or another, write it down. I will finish this project by Friday. I will not drink tonight. I will be at the gym at 6 a.m. Then, at the end of the week, audit the ledger. Look at the ratio of kept vows to broken ones. The numbers will not lie. They will show you exactly who you are. It will be painful to look at, but pain is the only teacher you respect. There will be times when you fail. You are human, and the path is steep. But the code of the warrior dictates how you handle failure. The weak man makes excuses. He blames the traffic, the weather, his mood, or his childhood. He tries to explain away the breach of contract. The man of iron offers no excuses. He offers a repair plan. If you miss a deadline, you do not apologize and wait for forgiveness. You state that you failed, and you immediately propose how you will fix it. I did not complete the task. I will have it to you by tomorrow morning, and I will add this extra value for the delay. That is it. No drama, no emotional begging, just ownership. There is a myth that this kind of rigidity makes life boring. People think that discipline kills spontaneity. They believe that being flexible with your word makes you free. This is a lie sold to you by people who have no direction. A ship without a rudder is not free. It is lost. It is at the mercy of every wave and every current. The man who is bound by his code is the only one who is truly free, because he is the one steering the ship. He knows where he is going, and he knows he has the strength to get there. When you live by the iron word, your relationships change. You will notice that people stop testing you. They stop trying to manipulate you. When you say no, they know you mean no. When you say yes, they know it is as good as done. You become a pillar in a world of crumbling sand. Others will flock to you, not because you are loud, but because you are solid. In a chaotic world, the most valuable thing a man can offer his family and his tribe is certainty. Be the man they don't have to worry about. This is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. It is about narrowing the gap between your potential and your reality. Every time you keep a promise, you add a layer of steel to your armor. Every time you break one, you create a chink where the arrow can enter. You are building the structure of your soul, brick by brick, word by word. Do not build with straw. Do not build with wood. Build with iron. Ask yourself what you are worth. If your word is cheap, your value is low. If your word is expensive, if it requires effort and sacrifice to obtain, then you become rare. The market of life rewards scarcity. Be the man whose yes costs something. Be the man whose no is final. Stop throwing your words around like confetti. Treat them like bullets. You only have so many, and once they are fired, you cannot call them back. The transformation does not happen in the light. It happens in the quiet moments when you want to quit. It happens when you promised yourself you would work, but you are tired and no one is watching. That is the forge. That is where the metal is struck. If you fold, then you remain a boy. If you hold the line, you harden into a man. The path is clear. It is not complex. It does not require a degree or a master. It requires only the brutal honesty to look at your own ledger and the will to balance it. Stop lying to yourself. Stop negotiating with your own standards. Let your word be the law of your own universe. If you say it, it must happen. If it cannot happen, do not say it. The only question is, will you continue to be a sword without a handle, cutting yourself on your own potential? Or will you forge the grip, bind it with the leather of discipline, and finally become the weapon you were meant to be? The contract is in front of you. Sign it with your actions. Keep your word.